The Closers on News Talk 1400, KFRU.
Welcome back to The Closers, brought to you by Bud Light. I'm Jet Roberts with Spencer Kane.
If you want to call us today, 442-8255. I was over at the athletic complex yesterday, Jet, doing football media day.
Right.
And several of the Missouri soccer players were on their way to dinner, and I knew they were waiting to see where they were going to be landing in the NCAA tournament. I wished all the ladies good luck. They looked a little bit nervous. Come to find out, they did not get selected to play in the tournament.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't even, be honest with you, I don't even know why they would be nervous. I wasn't nervous. I figured that 7 o'clock last night, just sit around the TV. Who are we playing? When are we playing? Where are we playing? And that's why this morning's news, last night's news, really came as a shock. Joining us on The Closers from the Mizzou Soccer program is Kurt Austin. How you doing, Kurt?
Real good. Thanks for having me.
No problem, man. It's our pleasure to have you on. What's the what was the feeling like this morning around the athletic complex?
I think everyone's still a little stunned. I mean, it's disappointing for sure, especially for the seniors that go out on this note. They had an incredible run, though, and the last 4 years has been one of the most successful senior classes at Mizzou, so it's unfortunate for them the most.
How does a team that doesn't lose a game until their last game of conference play, you win the regular season championship, you make the semifinals, and lose to the team that ends up winning it?
Yeah.
How do you not make the NCAA tournament?
It's a head scratcher. I think that's what we're all trying to figure out. It's the first time in the history of the Big 12 Conference since soccer started back in '96 that the regular season champion will not be represented in the NCAA tournament. So I think it's a shame for the conference, and I would like to see us in it. I think we could have made some noise. We had a talented group this year.
Undoubtedly a talented group. You have 4 players on the all Big 12 team. You have 1 player named a Defensive Player of the Year, and your coach is the Big 12 Coach of the Year. By the way, quick congratulations to Duke, who at 8-8 with 4 ties, and High Point University, who at 7-14 with 2 ties, will be playing for a national championship.
High Point was on that qualifier, but Duke, there's a few others. You just kind of scratch your head and you think maybe we had a more deserving resume over. But.
Some of this might sound like sour grapes, and I think you can have some sour grapes on a day like today. Does the Big 12 just not have the kind of advocates it needs at the selection with the selection committee?
This year, I think it's safe to say the Big 12 was in a down year for women's soccer. In years past, we've always gotten a multitude of teams in. This year, we only got 2, Texas A&M being the 1 at large and Oklahoma State winning the conference tournament. That's the fewest in several years that the Big 12 had represented. So I don't think the quality of soccer was down by any means. It's competitive conferences ever. I think we had some quality wins. Texas A&M knocked off the number 2 team in the nation in Portland earlier this year. So it's certainly a case of just a lot of parity, I think, within the Big 12 Conference.
Do you feel like maybe A&M got in because they're hosting the semis?
No, I think they've got a pretty deserving resume. They've had a very high RPI for much of the season. They've got some quality wins out of conference, and they did well in conference, finishing as runners-up. So.
Well, I mean, is the schedule made up for next season, or are you guys still working on getting those out-of-conference matches lined up?
I believe it's largely secured. A lot of those are part of contracts, with opponents we've played this year that were previously established from years past.
Can you add a couple? I mean, you might run into the problem where nobody really wants to play you. But I mean, can you add some more quality opponents and get those wins to get your RPI up?
I think that is one of the lessons you have to take away from not just this year but years past. It looks like the selection committee does overly rely on that RPI formula, a lot of which takes into consideration your non-conference schedule and the strength of that, especially when you can't control, how year in and year out the conference is going to do. So that's certainly a big factor.
Yeah, I think at the end of the day, you can't, you can't go so far out of your way to schedule, the Stanfords, on your schedule when you're playing in the Big 12 Conference, which usually every year is tough, top to bottom. I mean, 5, 6, 7 teams coming out of one conference.
Absolutely.
I know Mike Alden has probably been on the phone a lot with the people. Does something like that, does it matter at this point? I mean, can it make a difference down the road?
Obviously, the way things fell wasn't in our favor, and I think that's something you at least have to look into and find out why, at least get answers to some of the questions that everybody has. so that we can prepare and use that to our advantage going forward.
So what's the next step now with the soccer program? Obviously, the seniors find out in pretty much the harshest possible way that their careers are over. What's the next step for the Mizzou soccer team and for Brian Blitz when it comes to these broken-hearted girls, pretty much?
The off-season started a little sooner than we thought it was going to, but I think this in the end could end up serving as great motivation. I mean, I know this is going to leave a sour taste in every single one of those players' mouths as they work in this offseason to get ready for next year and the conference schedule, to make a run into the postseason, and they're not going to forget. They're going to have something to prove as they work all year long.
Well, do us a favor. Tell all of those young ladies, especially the seniors, that we're very proud of them and the job that they did this year. And that Big 12 trophy is a pretty special thing. And there's no reason to feel sorry about the way their season went this year.
Absolutely.
Kurt, thanks for your time, buddy. We appreciate it, man.
Thank you. And tell Coach Klein good luck tonight in the semifinal. Hope everybody can go out to support him.
We shall. We certainly will. That's Kurt Austin of the Missouri Soccer Program joining us on the closers. And undoubtedly, not only a pat on the back, but guess what? A hug for all those Mizzou soccer players that all they did was put in their time. They worked their tails off, win a conference championship, and still on the outside looking in. For what reason? I can't even begin to fathom what that reason is. You're listening to The Closers, brought to you by Bud Light. News Talk 1400 KFRU.